What if I told you the richest people in the world aren't even on the Forbes list? These ultra-wealthy elites don't flaunt their wealth with diamond-encrusted cars or solid gold yachts. They disappear. They vanish into a world of shell corporations and numbered bank accounts hidden away from the prying eyes of the public and, crucially, the taxman. But make no mistake, they still control everything. While we're stuck worrying about gas prices and whether or not we can afford to eat anything other than ramen, these shadowy figures are pulling the strings of the global economy. They're buying politicians, influencing elections, and shaping the world in their image. Today, we're exposing the hidden billionaire playbook, the exact strategies they use to stay off the radar while moving trillions of dollars behind the scenes. This is the kind of information that will make you want to shower with your eyes open, because frankly, it's terrifying. First up, offshore banking and trusts. Now I know what you're thinking. John, offshore banking? That's so 1980s cocaine kingpin. But trust me, this is still very much a thing. The ultra-rich don't keep their money in those banks with the annoying jingles and the free toasters. Instead, they stash it in places like Switzerland, Monaco, and the Cayman Islands, where secrecy laws are tighter than a drum. These tax havens are like the VIP lounges of the financial world. And let's be clear, when we say tax havens, we're not talking about some delightful loophole that lets you write off your cat as a business expense. We're talking about places that exist solely to help the super rich avoid paying their fair share. Here's the real trick. These billionaires don't actually own anything in their name. They're like the world's wealthiest hoarders, except instead of newspapers and empty yogurt containers, they're hiding their money behind a complex network of trusts and shell companies. Imagine this. A billionaire buys a $200 million super yacht, but instead of registering it in their own name, they set up a shell company in the Marshall Islands, owned by another shell company in Panama, which is ultimately controlled by a trust in Liechtenstein. It's like a game of financial hide-and-seek, but nobody wins because the game is rigged from the start. Next up, we'll be exploring how these billionaires are using real estate to launder money and avoid taxes. Stick around. So, we've established that the ultra-wealthy have a penchant for hiding their money in offshore accounts. But what do they do with all that cash once they've successfully stashed it away? They invest it, of course, but not in your average 401k or index fund. That's right, we're talking about real estate. But we're not talking about your average suburban McMansion or even a charming pied-à-terre in Paris. We're talking about penthouse apartments overlooking Central Park, sprawling estates in the Hamptons and private islands in the Caribbean. But here's the catch. They're not buying these properties in their own names. Instead, they rely on a variety of shell corporations, LLCs, blind trusts, and nominee buyers to keep their names off the deeds. Ever wonder why luxury apartments in cities like London, New York, and Vancouver sit empty for months, even years on end? It's because these properties are often nothing more than glorified safety deposit boxes for the ultra-wealthy. And the best part? Real estate is a fantastic way to appreciate wealth while avoiding taxes. See, when you sell a property, you typically have to pay capital gains taxes on the profit. But if you never actually sell the property, well, you never technically realize those gains, do you? Because these billionaires are buying up so much property, they're driving up prices for everyone else. So, the next time you walk past a gleaming skyscraper full of empty apartments, remember, it's not just a building, it's a monument to the vast and ever-growing wealth gap. Now, let's talk about taxes, shall we? The ultra-rich hate paying taxes. They'll go to extraordinary lengths to avoid it. Here's the trick. The super-rich don't sell their assets, they borrow against them. They treat their fortunes like a tax-sheltered ATM, borrow against the art collection, need a new private jet, take out a loan against that private island. In the eyes of the IRS, borrowing isn't income, so no income, no taxes. So far, we've talked about offshore banking, anonymous real estate purchases, and the magical world of borrowing against your assets to avoid taxes. But what if I told you there's a way for the ultra-wealthy to completely disappear from the taxman's radar? What if I told you they could buy their way out of paying taxes altogether? Well, buckle up, Buttercup, because it's time to talk about the wonderful world of... That's right, for the low price of a few $1,000,000, you too can purchase a shiny new passport and the tax benefits that come with it. Countries like Malta, Cyprus, and several Caribbean islands offer citizenship or residency in exchange for, shall we say, investments in their economies. Once you've secured your new citizenship, you can kiss those pesky capital gains taxes, inheritance taxes, and even income taxes goodbye. And the best part? You don't even have to live in your new country to reap the tax benefits. You can keep your primary residence in, say, New York or London, while enjoying the tax-free status of your new island paradise. Of course, this whole system is blatantly unfair to those of us who can't afford to buy our way out of our tax obligations. We've covered a lot of ground today, from offshore tax havens and anonymous real estate purchases, to the joys of buying a new passport. But there's one final piece of the billionaire playbook we need to discuss: how they manage to control the system without ever actually being seen. You see, the truly powerful don't need to run for office or hold public demonstrations. They exert their influence in far more subtle and insidious ways. One of their favorite tactics? Funding think tanks and lobbying groups. These organizations, with names like the Institute for Economic Freedom or Citizens for a Responsible Government, sound harmless enough on the surface. But behind the innocuous names and vague mission statements lies a network of well-funded organizations dedicated to promoting policies that benefit the wealthy. They also love to donate to political campaigns both directly and through those shadowy super PACs. By bankrolling the campaigns of politicians who are sympathetic to their cause, they ensure that their interests are represented at the highest levels of government. And let's not forget about the media. The ultra-wealthy understand the power of controlling the narrative. That's why they buy up media outlets, fund independent news sources, and even create their own propaganda machines disguised as legitimate news organizations. They know that if they can control what people see, hear, and read, they can control what they think. The ultra-rich don't play by the same rules as us. They don't just have money. They have power, influence, and a level of anonymity most of us can only dream of. They operate in a world where laws are suggestions, taxes are optional, and accountability is nothing more than a word in the dictionary. The game is rigged. The question is, are you playing or being played? Are you content to sit back and watch as the ultra-wealthy continue to hoard more wealth and power, or are you ready to demand a fairer system? One where everyone has a chance to succeed, not just those who can afford to buy their way to the top. If you found this video even remotely eye-opening, do the bare minimum and smash that like button. Subscribe to the channel for more deep dives into how power really works, and leave a comment below sharing your thoughts on this shadowy world of billionaire secrets. Trust me, the real billionaires won't want you to know this.